I just think that in general, this was just a test to test how far they can push it, and this is not going to be the end of the testing. They're going to keep pushing different things.
Well, then hopefully the community backlash, because I've seen it on just about every content creator that went over this,
Yeah,
was pretty damning of it. Even the people that are probably on the payroll of CIG in some ways were still critical.
I'm gonna.
So I've got to think there's some weight there at all. And
when the
of course, you got some conciliatory thing from them, but it seemed like it was not the full measure of removing it from the store.
Well, when the calculus changes to where stuff like this just makes them less money overall or causes a dip in their revenue stream, that's the factor that will make a change. I'm gonna link something to you, Jar Jar. Bring this up.
Okay.
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 Here, click on that link that I just sent you.
We're doing it.
There you go. Blow that up a little bit. Now look at 2025. Look where we're at. We still have like 10 days left in the month, right? Look at the funding. We're going to blow May out from last year. Every month we've blown out from last year.
Can I ask you a question? Is there an expense graph that is formulated similar to this one and broken down by month?
No. This data that's on here is pulled from CIG.
Is there a quarterly expense graph you think we could find somewhere?
No. The only time we've seen anything is when they release their
financial year-end statement or something, right?
Well, no, they released stuff from like 2 years ago recently. But we're not privy to that, you know.
Okay, so what are you telling me on this graph? I see 2025.
The point I'm making is that
we're ahead.
We're spending more money than we ever have year to date. Okay.
The players.
We're already ahead of the best year we've ever had, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If this continues.
Yeah.
The point is that they have a captive audience. All right. There's so many people that have invested so much time and money into this game. We're all victims of the sunk cost fallacy, pretty much.
It's not a ringing endorsement.
No. I'm not trying to make a ringing endorsement. I'm just saying the point I'm trying to make with this is that the money is coming in. Now, you've probably heard a bunch of people talking about, well, maybe they're in trouble. That's why they did that. They're not in fucking trouble. You know, yeah, they probably spent some money because they bought Turbulent and, and things are going to go up and down all the time. That's the nature of business. They're in no way hurting for money. If they got desperate, okay, you know all they have to do? Call up Tencent in China. They'll buy this motherfucker
either.
They'll buy this motherfucker hook, line, and sinker in a second.
Well, that's the.
I'm just saying.
The goal is not to do that, obviously.
Listen,
you don't want to give up the game.
Listen, the
cash cow.
Chris Roberts' goal is to make his game. He's going to make his game one way or the other. Okay?
Yeah,
and if he can get rich, if he sold this to China to somebody like Tencent today, he would be filthy fucking rich and probably still be in charge.
Kind of, he'd kind of be in charge.
No,
because then they'd come and be like, you need to put this in the game, or
No, the next thing you'd see is you'd start seeing all kinds of new ways of funding. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes. Funding.
Oh, with your fingers?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Double bunnies.
Gotcha.
So the point is that they're not in fucking financial trouble. Okay.
No.
They never have been.
I'm gonna send you. Where did you post that? Okay. I'm gonna see because as far as raking in the money, I think it's a great argument that they're raking in money like never before.
And also the other thing you have to keep in mind is this is just the funding dashboard. This is not the people that have invested money or other entities that have invested into this.
All right,
That's
so
not
let's
shown
look.
here.
If we look at this by year, we can see at 2022, after 2022, growth did not continue. This is expenses going up to 2022. This follows the same exponential. Do you see the point that I'm making? Is that if this graph continues, the expenses, if I just make a plot point from the last 5 years and just straighten out the line, if this graph continues, I can see how they do have a money problem.
Where did this come from?
This is from their 2002 income or financials for 2022 on their site.
Yeah, don't read too much into this expenditure, okay?
I can read a bar chart though, like
I know, but what some of these things in the bar chart mean, you don't really know. It's very nebulous. Okay,
but
marketing.
dollars.
He's saying they're
the
fudging
dollars.
things. Yeah,
but the dollars spent goes. I can see that chart go up.
Yeah, and
it grows. It follows a curve that the income chart that you showed earlier
you're
does
making
not
money.
follow.
Yeah, you're making money. You're spending money.
All right,
you're not really rich.
I'm no financial genius, but most companies, their books are never balanced. Some years they're up, some years they're down. At the end of the day, the amount of money that they're making, and remember, they're not making money yet. They're just trying to fund the project, right? They're just trying to fund the project.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's not true. They're all making.
You can see income in 2000. If you go up and you can see the income, which goes really algorithmically up, their spending goes, goes up.
Understood. That's because
look at the income, and this is you said 2022 was the best year, right?
No,
this year's the best year.
This year will be
on track to being the best
other
year.
Than that, yeah.
But there's this growth from 2001 to 2022 you do not see after 2020 2000 or
23 was the best year. 23 was the best year so
far. But wait, best year, but look at the marginal increase that it's the best year by.
And also you have to keep in mind this is not the full picture of everything. Anyway, let's not get into the weeds about bar graphs, okay? The point is that they're not in financial trouble, all right? They're not.
This is I feel as long as it's very easy for them to spend more money than they are taking in, despite having record-breaking years, is all I'm saying.
If they really in financial trouble, they just start firing people, man.
Or
making blades,
flight blades out there. Like, I mean,
all right,
cancel a Star Citizen, or a Citizen Con. Like, there's a lot of other ways to start trimming the fat.
Well,
before you fire your cherished workforce.
Oh, cherished workforce, man. Most of the cherished workforce is either leaving on their own or they're being gotten rid of, and they got all these newbies in here that don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why we keep getting such crap, I think. All these juniors, people with no experience.
The guy who made the Fury was that's chef's kiss on that. They at least get some passion with new blood, for sure.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point I was just trying to make is that I think this whole blade thing was just nothing but a test to see what they can get away with, and I think we're gonna.
I kind of agree with you.
I think we're gonna have more tests, and they're gonna push the envelope more. And
we're all on the roller coaster together, and you're just describing how bad it is, and I feel like I'm locked in.
You're on the vomit comet.
Yeah.
Oh God, I get real nauseous real easily.
All I'm saying is that don't be surprised when the next thing comes, and the next thing, and the next thing, and eventually, the only time it's gonna stop is when the little multicolored bar graph thing that I showed you, the income, the spend, what the players are spending, with the backers, Backers is CIG code for idiots. That's us. When us
enthusiasts.
backers,
I prefer
when us
enthusiasts.
backers, yeah, okay, whatever. When us backers, when the line starts drooping or heading in the wrong direction, that's when they will reel that shit in. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You know, a long way. You know, we went on a long trip, but we finally got to the destination.
Okay, that's fair.
Is this you fighting in an Aurora?
This is me.
No, I'm with you, Wicket. Like I'm with. No, I didn't mean to violently change. I agree. I'm just. I don't know if it'd be resigned. It's like telling that the roller coaster is just going to get crankier and.
It's
less
like we're
rewarding.
pinned down, and there's like people firing over us, and now they've been firing at us for like fucking 3 hours, and so now we're just like sitting in the trench, like, oh god, exhausted and scared.
You know, we get all this bad news and all this bullshit, and we feel manipulated and we feel wrong, and everybody's pissed off about these flight blades.
Yeah, my trench thing was too exaggerated. I just want to point.
And then you know, we had such a great patch so far. You know, it's been pretty good. It's been playing pretty good. Everybody got the interest. You know, it's kind of the stuff we talked about last week. That stuff is still valid. All those points we made last week are still valid.
Patch is less. Yeah.
But of course, everything has tarnished way too quickly now because of this fiasco with this blade shit. And then they release the roadmap updates, and they start talking about 4.2 and all the crap that's coming in that. I mean, that's a bunch of shit coming in that. Now, who knows if we're going to get it all, or maybe they release so much information because of the souring that the blades did. Now they'd have to bring something to bring the mood back in line. But I don't know. But the new stuff that's coming out.
I mean, it's still a community-funded project, and if the community is at the brink of grabbing pitchforks, like I would hope that whether it be the community manager, somebody there would have enough influence to at least go, hey, Chris, can you tell the marketing team we can't do this one? It's like,
well, it seems
really
like I said, it's to us, to us lay people that are not marketing. I mean, I don't know if you guys are marketing specialists or whatever, but I'm not. I'm a computer dude. You know, I work in IT. I have for many, many years. The one thing I do know, though, is that marketing people are always going to try to market. They're always going to try to sell. That's their job. You know?
And it's did that job as a specialist.
You would think,
8 years.
You would think that they had their finger on the pulse of their own community, since it's been such a long and drawn out development cycle. And there's been so much back and forth between the quote unquote bunny ear backers and the developers, that they would know the pulse, they would know the temperature. And even
that makes, you're right. This goes back to your test.
Knowing all this, they still did it.
Right.
It just,
which makes it all feel a little bit more manufactured.
Yeah, and testy and whatnot. Anyway, there's still good things looking like there's coming up in 4.2, 4.2X. I mean, there's a bunch of shit that they're talking about.
They got a spot of balls, but that last ball check, I winced. I winced when I looked at that store, and I was like, I cannot show another friend this game for. No.
Well,
not for a while.
Yeah.
I'm friendless in real life now because all the friends I showed this game, they laughed me out of our friendship.
They unfriended you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unfollowed, unfriended, unliked.
Oh my god! I used to run with a crew in Star Wars Galaxies.